All right, all right. Yeah, yeah. Peace, peace. Akia Me, the Success Scholar, Honorable One. Thank you all for tuning in. Wanted to do this. I just want to share some of my recent experiences. A lot of phenomenal things are happening. I'm continuing to do my plan. You do your plan, then you review your plan. It's called plan, do, review. Have any of you heard that? So as I was speaking rather recently, there was the discussion around attending conferences and, why should you attend conference? So I'm just going to share some key insights that I believe certainly would enhance the development for you to know how and where you need to show up, right? So many people, I've heard it said, people say that they keep going to these different conferences and they're not getting anything from them, or what do you get out of going to these things? And I just say when you are trying to do anything, you have to learn from individuals who have gone where you desire to go. Right? Does that make sense? All right, it should, because that's foundational for all learning. Most people actually learn from a master teacher. They take parts and pieces of these particular teachers, their style, their knowledge, their wisdom, and you get parts and pieces from showing up at different places, and you're able to synergize, right? You're able to synergize your analysis. Like, for instance, I'm currently reading this book by Ron Walters, very interesting book, the Fight for Black Power. Ron Walters, he transitioned in 2000. Um, no, wait a minute. Did he transition in 2010? I apologize if, but Professor Ron Walters, he was at Howard, not Morgan. I'm thinking of Morgan. My younger sister is graduating, but this year. So the discussion came up. I just recently did a workshop. Actually, I spoke at Morgan State. That's why I was thinking about Morgan, uh, and it was on networking, right? And I mentioned about networking at conferences and things of this nature. So let me just expand on that, because many people, always wondering, should I go to this? Should I go to that? And my thing is, where do you see yourself first and foremost? Where do you see your future? And who are the type of people that are like you or you want to be like? And where are they showing up? Right. So that's the idea when it comes down to showing up at different places. Now, here was the discussion or the considerations that some people may have or may not have or be thinking about. Particularly individuals who may have various types of education and training and skills, and in particular, they have a particular history of various accolades that they have accomplished, and they may feel that they don't have time in their busy schedule to actually spend it with people who may not necessarily have achieved their perceived level of success. But I just look at it like this. Um, well, I'll just use this example. Recently, Les Brown made a comment. He was speaking at Morgan State, and he said, "How many people in here got to have a degree?" Uh, and darn near everybody, half the room, raised their hand. And then he asked, "How many people here have spoken at Harvard?" Now, however people feel about Harvard, however people feel, the reality is, on some levels, is a higher institution of learning, uh, and it's quite expensive to to actually go attend that school. And and he said he spoke there 4 times. Nobody hand went up, and he doesn't have a degree. Now, it's just really interesting to see that people uh, who may have a particular education, who haven't spoken at Harvard, for instance, in the Baltimore area, where people actually need these types of messages, they may not be considering showing up for these places. Now, many people, they may not even be able to afford to travel to go to a conference, but they still don't show up. So, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I wanted to make that point, because sometimes it's not necessarily about a particular dollar amount. It's not about uh, how much you spend to go to a conference. I mean, that certainly would be a consideration for a large percentage of us, but because you can't just say, all right, $10,000, drop $10,000 and go. You got to kind of put it, your the value of it around a price point that is reachable, and that takes looking around at what others are doing, and looking at the timing of the event as well as the date of the event. And so, but I wanted to propose something. When, for instance, is it okay for you to just say, I don't need to go to any more conferences, right? Uh, and that's the key question, because some people may feel like they got everything, but actually, eventually, it's not totally about you. It's about you being of service, you being accessible to other people, you connecting to other people. And so, and I realize that time is everything, and but sometimes you're gonna get some jewels. I'm telling you, you're gonna get some jewels that you may not have had, right? And I'm just gonna say, particularly if I'm one of the speakers, I'm just that diverse in terms of the depth and the uniqueness of my message, that I feel that you can gain something. So I'm just putting that out there, because it's so real. Uh, my message is one that will keep a core percentage of the population alive and free and growing. So and unfortunately for me, I've touched upon various levels of scholastic research to the degree that uh, people will get something. And I'm sure that the individuals that came to Morgan State, that attended my workshop, the wise ones that showed up in my workshop, they were quite happy. They were enthused, because I dropped some multi million dollar nuggets. Now, some people say, "Well, brother, how you just gonna say that?" It's because the depth, experience, knowledge, right? And let me just make this plain, because sometimes people feel like I only want to show up where millionaires are and things like this, and I'm like, well, you just because somebody made a certain amount of money in one particular field or area don't mean that you're going to. I mean, I've changed some things up, and I've realized that it wasn't totally me all the time. There's some bigger forces out here. There's some economic forces, supply and demand, that you you can't totally explain. You gotta you can't read it in a book, right? You can't. Somebody can't tell you. You're gonna have to experience some of these things. You're gonna have to watch and observe from showing up at different places. For instance, thanks, brother Trevor. Is that Trevor? Yeah. Sorry, glass on. All right, talk here. You may have to experience some things, like when I was in a company some time ago, and I was looking around, And I just started wondering, like, well, why? These are some sharp people. It was a very, very sharp team of different individuals. And I'm just like, and every sales force go through that. And I'm just like, well, why aren't people, progressing? Why aren't they achieving? Why aren't they selling more? Right? Why aren't they reaching various levels of increased levels of success and getting promoted in this particular field, right? So I had to like really analyze not just myself, but everybody around me. And I'm just like, okay, yes, they're experiencing different levels of success. And, and I know that some of these people are trying because I've seen them actually do various types of work. But why aren't they achieving this level of success? And I just realized that sometimes, we continue to, although we do our plan, we review our we do, and then we review. Sometimes we don't necessarily know when to say when, know when to just give up, and that's not a bad thing. You just got to readjust what you were doing, like, and people, sometimes folks will joke, think they think that they're joking you, but because of your change, oh, you were doing this, you were doing that, or you do this differently now. But it's all in your growth and development, and everybody's going to have a different level of growth and development. But what I will say is that there you're going to have to show up at different things. And I just give this example of, how, for instance, why sometimes you just got to take yourself and know that you have to expand. You got to expand beyond your immediate market, your immediate neighborhood, your immediate peers, your immediate friends and associates, the immediate conferences that you attended. Um, and know, they're not going to be people that there, but sometimes, that's just going to have to happen. Yeah, where's your workshops? All right, yeah, Dimitri, I got you. Well, I got some coming up, but I'll talk a little bit about that. But rather recently, I've just had that experience and that conversation because I mean, yes, I spoke at the event with Les Brown and Dr. George. I'm sorry, no, I always say them two together, but Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. Though I'm going to others to get some training, right? And I've reached a point where in my evolution and development where I'm confident that I can expand. I can show up at different things and with my particular skills and knowledge and experience, people will get something, out of it. So, excuse me, y'all. Sister Demetria Dean asked about the workshop. So, well, one, I'm talking about actually, I'll be attending this Media Masters Summit, and that's going to be in Arlington, Virginia, coming up here in May. So that's one that I'm coming at. That's a 3-day piece. So holla at me if anybody interested in attending that. But should be some good stuff. I've seen the work of Dr. Avis over time, and I've seen her. We were actually next to each other at the Congressional Black Caucus, so I know I've seen some of her clips at different places. So I know that she market. So my idea was okay. And this is the thing with these conferences. And I talked about this in the workshop I did on networking at Morgan. Sometimes it was good for us to be at the Earl Graves building. Thank you, thank you. It was good for us to be at the Earl Graves building at Morgan State, and that's a good start. But sometimes, I mean, look, the most brokest of us, we can catch a bus up to Philly. We can catch a bus down to DC. I mean, and if anybody that's in this northeast region or southeast region part of the United States, you can ride a bus. I've known people ride buses from Detroit to Atlanta to go to a conference. I ain't gonna say no brother name, but he doesn't mind, Brother Bedford. And I don't know if he rode a bus, but I do know another brother who rode a bus from Detroit and some other places. But um, just really sometimes you got to soldier up. You got to soldier up and realize that sometimes the knowledge that you gain from people in the room or the opportunities that you gain. So it's not just about, should everybody go to a conference. It's like you got to think about who you are and what you're going to get, and knowing that when you show up somewhere, whether you're speaking or not, people are going to respect, and appreciate you being there, right? So that's the thing. So not everything is going to be for everybody, but you know, you got to keep continuing to be a lifelong learner, right? You got to keep on showing up, and that's why I'm excited actually about the Power Networking Conference this year. I mean, like I said, I've gone to four over the past few years, and I've continued to get different parts to the puzzle, and then it's like you refine it each and every year, and you should know like how to maneuver yourself or position yourself out here with products and services, and not that you're going to get everything from one particular conference, right? And this is why I branched off, started going to some get motivated, pieces, to get motivated conference, and then just demographically, that was the other key point that I wanted to hit. I'm hitting out to Vegas, to Sister Dr. Aries. I called her doctor, gave her a promotion. Sister Aries Squires is having a revenue review out in Vegas. That's in August coming up, August 3rd through the 5th. So I just want to say that, of course, yes, do look at the people that are there, and of course, and it's about building relationships as well as supporting individuals. And my thing now, objectively, honestly speaking, is we got the Generation X's, right? I'm down for not to take anything away from millennials or elders, but some people they've already gotten theirs, right? They've achieved what they are going to achieve, and they don't have time to show up, for some things, and they just going to depart their wisdom if you feel that as though they have wisdom. But it's the next generation's turn, and and that's where you got to know your place and create, and even begin to develop your own, and build your own, right? Eventually, you gotta leave the nest, right? You gotta organize, amongst your peers, as well as the future uh, coming after you. And this is why I've been strategically targeting, some of the HBCUs, Morgan and Coppin and Bowie, you know, as well as other universities in this DMV area. Just going to different events and sharing and connecting, and not just universities, but some other young people oriented events that we need to reach out to. So again, I just wanted to share that. Sometimes, I know some people, you start thinking about your dollars and your trips and everything else, and we're thinking about how much money we spend on education, lifelong learning. I've heard Dr. Frazier say that I don't know how much he spent $20,000 on conferences and educational events and books and workshops and DVDs. Um, still, still does that. Now, some people say, "Well, he got it like that. He can do that." Well, you got to get it like that. You got to get some types of part and pieces of development. And this is why, I'll just say my brother posted something. He said, pick a champion. My thing is pick a few champions. Pick a couple champions that you know who have done what you want to do and definitely living the example. And you just look at what they do, how they do it, and you show up where they are, right? And eventually, they see you enough. They see you enough, and you prove that you're ready. They ain't gonna have no choice, right? They ain't gonna have no choice because bottom line, they gonna look around on the bench and they gonna be like, man, where's my bench? Where's my players? And eventually it's just gonna be like, come on, you up. You're the DH, right? You're the DH. You've been, this routine. You know what's going on around here. So for me, I'm to the point, with the book and not just that, but the film project with several people and just the magazine, the speakers magazine and the newspaper, and showing up at these different conferences. And I'm just like, eventually, someone, somewhere, somehow, they're gonna look and they're gonna ask, well, who is that? That brother, he's always showing up. And he's in the book with who? And he's in the film with who? And he's in the magazine with who? And he got what products? And what's the other one? What's the other one? And how many books did he say he read? Oh, yeah. Let's get him. Let's get him. Or what may happen, they could just say, you know what? I just don't like him. And the beautiful thing about that, not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna cheer you. Not everybody's gonna give you a pat on the back, a pat on your head, or I'll pat you on your behind, or anywhere else. But bottom line, you're gonna have to choose yourself. And this is where skill development come in. Skill development come in with your outreach efforts. And so as time go on, of course, I'm confident, keeping my cash flow coming, financing the revolution and building, team building allies and, keeping my team fed. We got to eat. That's right. We hungry. So I'm saying for those that are ready, the championship, like the young brother that said about the Ravens, he said that he's going to get a championship with the Ravens. That's right. He came a ring, a championship ring. That's what the aspiration of what I need to accomplish going to do. And not everybody's going to conceptualize the depth of what you're trying to do, right? Or who you are and what your potential are. Because many people, I got some people still looking like, yeah, man, you still doing A, B, and C, or you know, or you still, they thinking about my childhood or something, thinking like they knew me when I was, a young person or something. So people will do that. People will do that until they see you on on television or something. I don't know, but and that's where lifelong learning and look the part, showing up and looking the part, just knowing that you belong. Like George Fraser say, you gotta show up like you like, look like you belong there. Right? So that's what I have to say. And always level up, brothers and sisters, level up. Yes, yes. Find people that's doing 10, 15, 20 times better than you, and reach out for them, show up, and eventually, somewhere, somehow, somewhere, uh, someone will say, "Yes, I pick you to be the next MVP." All right. So that's all I have to say. What's going on, Jamal, Sister Wit? Thank you, Brother Trevor. Uh, yeah, good topic. Ralph, Brother Ralph, thank you, Watkins, Zakia, Davitria. and Maria Falk. So thank you all. Thank you, Demetria Dean. So holla at the Success Scholar website, successscholarhaki.com, as well as follow me on Instagram, Success Scholar, and Success Scholar #1 on Twitter. So I tweet and I Instagram as well, trying to keep up with the young folks. All right. So stay connected. Holla at the Success Scholar. I'm out.